Hugh Colton, Town and Country TV, staying in touch with the communities that we call home, the wonderful things that happen within them. You know, these communities come together to help in so many different ways. This is another story that we want to tell you today, how you can come together and help a little girl. My guest is Amanda Fournier, and first of all, welcome into the Jeep. Shake my hand, you fitness guru, you. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you.
This is a story that's touched the hearts of this community.
No kidding.
About a little girl known as Everley, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about this disease called CCHS.
Yes. So, it is called congenital central hyperventilation syndrome. Everley was born January 14th, so she's a little over almost 6 months old now.
Mm-hmm.
She was born with this disorder, which essentially what happens is when Everley falls asleep, she stops breathing. So she has a permanent tracheotomy,
Yes.
and she has to be hooked up to a ventilator to help her sleep.
This is very rare, too, isn't it?
Very.
From what I understand.
Yes. Yeah. I think Sarah said 1,000 cases worldwide, 44 diagnosed cases in Canada.
And let's talk about Mom and Dad, because this is very much a local story.
Oh, yes.
This is Mom Sarah Patterson, correct?
Yes.
Who is in the fitness industry with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And her husband.
Yes, Jordan Yolkowskie.
Yes.
And I work for Sarah and Jordan at the Shift, at their gym that's located at their home on Bay Road.
So, little Everley comes into the world.
Right.
She's diagnosed with this very rare disease. On top of that, recently there's been another diagnosis, correct?
Yes, this glycogen malfunction, which makes her hypoglycemic, so her blood sugar drops, which causes her to pass out. And they're having a very hard time regulating it because they're thinking right now that Everley is the very first diagnosed case of this disorder in Canada.
This little girl has spent 120 plus days so far at CHEO, and tip of the hat again to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, our Children's Hospital, for doing what they do. But 120 plus days, and also Mom and Dad have had to spend that time,
with
which
Everley.
means that, you know, it changes your working environment and how you can go to work, and the bills continue to stack. And, you know, now we're looking for different sources and ways of treatment that might be able to help us in the United States and not only Canada. And that's why it's very, very important that we rally together as a community to try and help with this.
Because Sarah and Jordan do have to be at the hospital with Everley. She's just an infant. So it's not like when you take an older child, a 10 or an 11-year-old, and they can spend days on their own while their parents go to work and their parents come back to the hospital in the evening. Everley literally needs 24-hour care. If she's awake, she needs care. If she's sleeping, she needs care. You know, and that onus falls on the responsibility of her parents. As much as she's at the hospital, they have to be there with her.
And this is a little girl that's a happy little girl. You know, that's you know,
full of life.
Outside the disease and on the good days. Is absolutely full of life and joy and laughter.
Happiest baby I think I've ever met in my life. Ever. She never cries. She's always smiling. She's just, you look at her, you know, and she's in CHEO, and she's surrounded by machines and beeping and tubes and all of this stuff. And she's still just in awe of everything. She is inquisitive. She's meeting all of her developmental milestones. You know, she's just, she's super special.
So, as a fitness community, you people have come together. Now, your personal fitness story is outstanding and good for you because you're an inspiration to a lot of people, including me.
Thank you.
But as we rally, and I think you know this because you've lived in this area all of your life, and you understand when there's time of need, when people need to come together to rally. It always seems to happen, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. And you know, Sarah and Jordan have done so much for our community. They did a huge fundraiser for Yarrow Veets when she was diagnosed with her cancer, and they took that initiative and rallied the community together to raise those funds for her. They did the same thing with Amanda Barrett and raised a ton of money for her as well. So it's right. It's our responsibility as a community that we rally around this family and come together.
It is right, and it feels right. And so you've got something very special planned, and I can't believe, like, I mean, the month of July is sort of dedicated to little Everley, and it's fitness related.
It is,
and you and your people and everybody, all the other fitness organizations that you know, have this plan for the Smiths Falls Community Center, the main floor of the new rink on July the 16th. a.m.
Yes.
Talk
at
to me
11
about
o'clock
that.
a.m. So
What's it called?
We are doing an Insanity Live class.
Did you hear that, folks? It's
Yes.
called Insanity Live. And when she talks Insanity Live,
Yes.
you better be ready.
Yes, that's right. And
I'm not ready, by the way.
But that being said, we don't want to scare anybody away.
No.
So, Insanity Live, it is an intense workout. The reason why we pick this one, I don't just teach just this class. I teach a variety of classes, some much lower impact than Insanity is. But this is Sarah's favorite class. This is her all-time. She loves this class. And secondly, the fight that Everly and Jordan and Sarah face every single day, it only seems fitting that we do a class that makes us work for it, makes us fight for ourselves, and leaves us with a feeling of empowerment, and that we've really accomplished something that was really difficult and hard, because that's the message that Sarah and Jordan try to give to people.
Yeah.
You know, that you can do anything that you set your mind to.
You know, Amanda, very well that, you know, and you have to start from the ground and build
Yes,
yourself the
you
base
do.
when it comes to fitness and
Yep.
cardiovascular activity. But, I mean, if you start with one day and that leads to 2 days to 4
That's
days
right.
to 8 days,
Yeah.
you can start to build. And it's a
That's right.
thing that takes time.
Yeah.
We're going to tell everybody because we want to fill the floor.
That's right.
So we might have somebody that is not ready
Right.
for the complete insane
That's right.
activity,
Yeah.
but there'll be other things going
Yes,
on around
there's-
it. Plus the fact that you'll be able to come and talk to people like you. Maybe somebody's thinking about taking up fitness,
Yeah.
wants to learn a little more about cardiovascular activity, about nutrition and healthy
Yes.
foods,
Yep.
maybe a little bit about strength training.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that advice is going to
Yes,
be there
it
on the
will
floor.
be. Yeah, for sure. So there's also going to be a bake sale and a silent auction for people to participate in. There's going to be donation jars set up to buy specifically gas cards for them to go back and
Yes.
forth, parking passes, grocery cards, all of that sort of stuff that they need to live day to day. And also, while I'm teaching the class, I will modify everything. I will modify the modified. I really want everybody to at least be able to try a portion, if not make it through the whole thing, because we want people to know that you can do this physical activity. You can do it.
And you know, it's not about if you can't go through the entire workout.
Right.
If you're there for the very first time and you try the first 5 minutes, well, it's 5 minutes
That's
more
right.
than you did the day before.
That's right.
And 5 minutes will lead to 6, will lead to 7,
That's
will
right.
lead to 10,
Yes.
right? And
yeah.
that's the way to
and
look at
everybody's
it.
got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say someday I'll do it, someday I'll this. But you know what? Someday is not a day of the week.
Some days today.
That's
the
right.
day of someday
That's right.
is July 16th on the big floor, on the
It
rink
is.
floor
Yes.
of the Smiths Falls Community Center, because twofold.
Yes.
Yes, you're starting to maybe learn and turn the corner on your own personal fitness
Right.
routine. The second thing and the most important thing that you're going to do is to be able to help support this little girl and her family.
That's right.
That's
yes.
really
Yes,
what's happening
that's the
here.
biggest goal. Is the funds.
I'm sure that, I mean, you know, you have connections to New Generations Fitness at the
Yep.
Gallipo Center. You've mentioned Sarah Patterson's facility.
Yep.
And as you reach outside, I know this fitness community is tight.
Oh, huge.
Everybody's tight
Yes.
with regards to, you know, knowing everybody.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're reaching out there, and those people will most likely come to this day as
Absolutely,
well.
yes. So a lot of the trainers at Zen Dragon have been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing small little events and fundraising and stuff over the course of the month already, which will continue through the month of July. There's different sponsorship programs where you can sponsor Sarah and Jordan directly. So yeah, people have just come right out of the woodwork and just...
The volunteers and the community spirit that gets together. The other thing that just
Yes.
crossed my mind is, you know, maybe someday they would like a break from driving.
No
So
kidding.
somebody say, how about I drive you to the hospital
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Those things that
Yes.
everybody, oh, just, well, they're little, no, they're huge things. They
That's
all come
right.
together as a major part
It is.
of this program
Yes.
and trying to do things to
Yeah.
help this little girl out and her parents.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to
Me
be there.
too.
I want to see the floor full.
I know.
Because I think
Yeah.
the best thing that could happen is when we come in to do something Facebook Live with you on
Yep.
that day, July 16th, which we will do.
Yep.
We will look forward to a full arena floor.
Yes.
And it should be
The
something to
energy
see.
will be crazy
Mm-hmm.
in there. And I mean, if you're even debating about coming, you need to just commit and say, yes, I'm coming.
Yeah, let's fill the
because
floor.
it will be, it's going to be epic. It'll, you know.
Even if you
Yeah.
don't take part in
Right.
the actual Insanity
Yeah.
workout, just come.
To
The
be
donation
there. That's
jars are
right.
there. The bake sale is there. The auction items will be there.
Yep.
You can make the donation in support of this
Yes.
girl and this little girl and her
Absolutely.
family.
Yep.
but be part of this energy that's going to
Yes.
happen.
Yeah. Even just as a spectator, it'll be a sight to be seen for sure.
Now, as far as people who want to donate, I think people have been donating up until this point, and maybe would like, somebody listening to or hearing this interview for the first time, watching it for the first time, says, I would like to donate to that cause. I would like to volunteer to help out on that day, or I'd like to play a role. There's a couple of people, mainly you and I believe Rachel Bell, that these people can get a hold of. So if we can get a couple of email addresses along with your phone numbers, we're going to try and direct everybody. Remember this, folks. We want to remember these numbers and the email addresses because they're very, very important, and we want you to be in touch with these two girls, Amanda and Rachel, because this day we want to make as huge as it gets.
That's right. So Rachel Bell's email address is frdm037@gmail.com, and my email address is atrudel_7@hotmail.ca, not .com.ca, and my phone number is 613-207-1462. And we're more than happy to address anybody that wants to help. The more, the merrier. Like, we just,
email anytime, phone anytime, ask all the questions, ask more about, ask more about CCHS. Because we'll try and give you all that information. But the bottom line is to help this young little girl in this fight. And her parents.
And her parents. Yeah, absolutely. So you want to bring running shoes, water.
Lots of water.
That's right. Lots of water. We will have extra water there, but you want to bring water. A towel or a yoga mat. Your towel just needs to be big enough that you can lay on it or for underneath your elbows. And a great attitude. And some money. Bring your money.
I'll tell you what, folks. You want to have an attitude like this young lady right here because she has a great attitude. Her own personal fitness story is outstanding, and you'll have some fun with this lady, Amanda. You will have a good day in support of a special young girl right here in the communities that we call home. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks very much.
Amanda Fournier. Listen, remember the date, July 16th, the main floor of the Smiths Falls Memorial Community Center. We want to fill it, and we can fill it with your help to help and support little Everley, I should say. Hugh Colton, Town and Country TV. Hi everybody, Hugh Colton, Town and Country TV, with an invitation for you to hit that subscribe button to find out what's happening in and around the communities that we call home.